Hi there Booktube, it's Eleanor here. I wanted to make a video today because I've just got back from the Booktube meetup in London that was organised by Benjamin of Tomes, and it was really brilliant. I was really nervous going in because I didn't really know anyone and I hadn't met anyone in person before, but I met up with the wonderful Sam from Cold Tea and Crumbs and Katie from Kit Kats Can Read, and I just thought those girls were brilliant. I really enjoyed meeting them and getting to know them a bit better and book shopping with them, and yeah, it was just great to sort of meet people in person and feel like you really connected and made friends. I do really genuinely feel like I've made friends and it was wonderful. So anyway, before I start gushing loads and loads and loads about what a wonderful time I had, I wanted to do a book haul because you can't go to a Booktuber meetup and go round Foyles in Charing Cross and Waterstones in Piccadilly and not buy lots of books. However, when I looked at the books that I've bought, it turns out that I've bought books that have been recommended by other booktubers. So I'm going to call this haul #BooktuberMadeMeBuyit. So I'm going to tell you which booktuber had recommended it. I'm going to link their videos where they talk about this particular book below and then show you the books. So the first book that I bought was recommended probably by everybody that I watch on Booktube. There was a campaign that was running last month, Books on My Bag. A lot of booktubers got swag from Books on My Bag to help promote the cause, which is to celebrate independent bookstores and to encourage people to buy from those bookstores. The official book for Books in Your Bag this year was the Bookshop Book by Jen Campbell. And I know a lot of people have talked about Jen Campbell's Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops, but I really liked the sound of this one. Jen talks about different bookshops all over the world, really unique, interesting ones, bookshops on boats, bookshops in unusual places, and also gives you facts about bookshops and interesting facts about books and bibliophiles and all sorts of things. So it's a non-fiction book, but I just thought it'd be really interesting to read and perhaps inspire me for some places to visit on holidays in future. I can perhaps base all my holidays around interesting bookshops. That would be perfect. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure my husband would go for that, but you know, I can give it a go. Next was a book that was recommended by someone that I really respect on Booktube for his recommendations of sci-fi and fantasy, and that is Bitten by a Radioactive Book, and he recently read The Rook by Daniel O'Malley. All I know about this book is that it is about a woman she's part of a secret organisation that battles supernatural forces. She has been betrayed by someone within the organisation she works for, and it is about her trying to find out who it is. And some of the descriptions have talked about a person with 4 bodies and a woman who can enter your dreams. So I just think this sounds really interesting and I trust his judgment, so I'm going to give this a go. Next was a on-the-day recommendation from Kit Kats Can Read. And seriously, if I hadn't bought this book, I don't think I would have heard the end of it. So I thought, right, I'm just going to buy it and hope it's good and trust her judgment. So, The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. I know absolutely nothing about this book, apart from the fact that Katie thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread, and I think is currently reading the 3rd one and loving it, so I'm going to give it a go. I think it's about Mara Dyer, who's in an accident with some friends. They all die, she doesn't, and escapades ensue, including paranormal or weird, creepy stuff, so going to give this one a go. Just for you, Katie. Next, I have recently been loving Lindsay Ray's videos. I think her channel is brilliant. She always discusses books great. She's brilliant at reviewing and talking about books and giving a really good synopsis. And she's been doing some author videos where she's gone into depth about all the books that certain authors have read, about the books that certain authors have written, and giving you some information on where to start with those authors. And I really, really loved her Brandon Sanderson one. I've already read a few of his books, but not that many, and she said that Warbreaker was a really good standalone book. So I've got the Mistborn trilogy to read, so I'm going to read that at some point, but if I fancy a standalone, I'm definitely going to give this a go. I'm not sure 100% what this is about. Obviously it's going to be fantasy and it's going to involve some sort of magic system. Brandon Sanderson's brilliant at sort of setting up his own magic system, so I'm just interested to read this, and if you want to find out more about it or about Brandon Sanderson's books, I really recommend that you watch her video. Now, I couldn't go to Benjamin of Tomes' Booktuber meetup without buying a book that he has recommended at some point. And I know that in his video he said that he really loved Witch and Wizard by James Patterson. I know Ben's got a bit of a thing about witches and wizards and he's always recommending books, so this one was the one that piqued my interest the most, mainly because James Patterson, I do like his adult crime novels, and I'd just be interested to see how he's turned his hand to young adult fiction, so I'm going to give this one a go. And lastly, in the hashtag Booktubermademebuyit is Station 11 by Emily St John Mandel. I recently watched the review by Rincey Reads and she really loved this, said how brilliant it was and recommended that we should read it, so I am going to give it a go, and I thought this was a really, really beautiful book. Oh, and look at this! A luminous pink inside. And it's white with silver. So that's all the books that I bought while I was at the Booktuber meetup. But when I got home, I found some parcels on my doorstep. So I wanted to show you those. The first one is my monthly reading yearbook, which came from Mr. B's Emporium in Bath. It's my final one for this reading year. And as always, it's a surprise. I don't really know what books are coming, so I don't know much about them. But this time they've sent me The Strangler Vine by M.J. Carter. I don't know anything about this, so I'm just going to read you the back and we can find out together. Calcutta, 1837. Young Ensign William Avery is tasked by his employers, the East India Company, to track down disgraced agent Xavier Mountstuart, lost to the jungle. Accompanied by dissolute, errant genius Jeremiah Blake, Avery is sure their mission is doomed. When their search leads them into Kali-worshipping thuggy territory, survival depends upon trust. Fighting for their lives, the pair close in on their elusive quarry only to discover the horrifying truth behind their mission. With death and danger on all sides, is it too late to save themselves? It sounds interesting. It has really good reviews and it was shortlisted for the Specsavers Crime Thrillers Award 2014, which is a crime and thriller book award in the UK. So yeah, I'd be interested to read that. Then there was two books that I had ordered from Amazon. One of them, it will be no surprise if you have watched my last What I Read this week, is the final in the Lux series. I feel like although I haven't loved the series, I have enjoyed it more as the books went on. It would be silly to read the first four and not the final one, so I've picked up the final one to complete this, so I'm hoping for good things, so we shall see. Recently I've discovered a booktuber that I think is brilliant called The Books Watch. I really recommend that you go and check her out. She's great, she's interesting, and she really knows how to talk and enthuse you about books. And she recently read this book, and from her talking about it, I just couldn't not buy it. So it is The Paper Magician by Charlie N. Holberg. Now, she described this as a story where you go to school and you choose the type of magic you're going to do. So there's people that do sort of metal magic and people that do like plastic magic and various different types of magic, and you have to opt for which one that you're going to do, and that's the only one that you can ever do after that. And this girl wants to go, I think, for metal magic and ends up being given paper magic, which she's not pleased with and she thinks it's going to be rubbish. And she gets given a mentor, and it's about that. Let me read you the back very quickly. Sione Twill arrives at the cottage of magician Emery Thane with a broken heart. Having graduated at the top of her class from the Taggis Praft School for the Magically Inclined, Sione is assigned an apprenticeship in paper magic despite her dreams of bespelling metal, and once she's bonded to paper, that will be her only magic forever. Yet the spells Sione learns under the strange yet kind Thane turn out to be more marvellous than she could have ever imagined, animating paper creatures, bringing stories to life via ghostly images, even reading fortunes. But as she discovers these wonders, Sione also learns of the extraordinary dangers of forbidden magic. An excisioner, a practitioner of dark flesh magic, invades the cottage and rips Thane's heart from his chest. To save her teacher's life, Sione must face the evil magician and embark on an unbelievable adventure that will take her into the chambers of Thane's still-beating heart and reveal the very soul of the man. From the imaginative mind of debut author Charlie N. Holmberg, The Paper Magician is an extraordinary adventure, both dark and whimsical, that will delight readers of all ages. I just think that sounds really, really good. So it's not a massive book. It looks like it's only just over 200 pages, so it will be a quick read, and I'm definitely going to get to this at some time soon. So anyway, that is all of the books that I got on the Booktube meetup in London or had in the post recently. I'm really excited about them. If you've read any of them, I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts. And as I say, I will link down below the videos that not forced, but encouraged me and enthused me to buy these books, so you can check them out too. Anyway, it was nice to speak to you. Bye for now, Booktube.